representation of the graph, both the incidence matrix and adjacency matrix. What is the last topic that we discussed, ma? Please let me know. Bipartite graph is completed, right? Complete bipartite graph. What about subgraphs? Subgraphs, spanning subgraph, complement of a graph. Did I finish all this? Representation of graphs, adjacency matrix is completed. What about incidence matrix? Have I explained that incidence matrix? Okay, both the representations are over, right? Then we'll start the next topic, that is isomorphic graphs. When do we say that two graphs are isomorphic? That we'll see now. Okay? So before we see that, before I tell you what is an isomorphic graph, first of all, we should know what is a degree sequence, right? Can anyone have an idea what is a degree sequence? What is a degree sequence? Any idea? Degree sequence. So you know how to calculate the degree of an graph, right? So when two graphs are given, you will find the degree of that graph and you will arrange all the degrees of the vertices in an ascending order. If that is known as the degree sequence. If the degree sequence of both the graphs is same, then we'll call those that the degree sequence. If both the graphs, the degree sequence of both the graphs is same, then there is a chance that the graphs may be isomorphic. If the degree sequence of the graphs is same, then there is a chance for the graphs to become an isomorphic graph, right? So, and what are the other conditions for two graphs to become an isomorphic graph? That we'll see now, right? Wait for a while, I'll share the screen. So the next topic is isomorphic graphs. So let us see what are the conditions to be satisfied. First condition is when two graphs are given, first you need to check. Let us assume that G1 and G2 are the two graphs. Then verify or compare the number of vertices in G1 and the number of vertices in G2. They should be equal. Similarly, number of edges in G1 and the number of edges in G2 should also be equal, right? So this is the first condition to be satisfied. The number of vertices and the number of edges in both the graphs should be same. Next, the degree sequence of the both the graphs should be the same. The degree sequence of G1 and G2 should be the same. Next, you will define a function f from V1 to V2. You will define a function f from V1 to V2 such that the function f should be bijective function. What is a bijective function? What is a bijective function? Bijective function means the function should be both on one and on two. Next condition is whatever the function you develop, then you need to check if a comma b is an edge in first graph. If a comma b is an edge in first graph, if and only if f of a comma f of b, f of a comma f of b is an edge in the second graph, right? If a comma b is an edge in first graph, then their images f of a and f of b should be in the second graph. This will preserve the adjacency. This preserves the adjacency, right? So first condition is number of vertices and the number of edges should be the same. Next condition is the degree sequence should be the same. Next, you have to develop a function f from v1 to v2 such that the degree sequence should be preserved. The function should be a bijective function and the degree sequence should also be preserved. Clear? What is this degree sequence? How to know whether the adjacency is preserved or not? All those we'll see with an example, right? So these are the conditions to be satisfied. Clear? Now, first of all, we'll see one example how to find the degree sequence. It is very simple. You just find the degrees of all the given graph, all the vertices in the graph, and arrange them in the ascending order. That is known as the degree sequence. Consider one example. Two graphs are given. This is first graph G1. This is the second graph. So G1 and G2 are given. What is the first condition? The number of vertices in G1 should be equal to the number of vertices in G2. How many we have in first graph? 4. In the second graph also we have 4. Right? Similarly, number of edges should also be matched. Number of edges in G1 should also be equal to number of edges in G2. In first graph we have 4. In the second, 3. In the first graph we have 3 edges. In the second graph also we have 3 edges. Right? First condition is satisfied. Next, find the degree sequence. Coming to the first graph, how many vertices we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. Similarly, in the second graph, A, B, C, D. What is the degree of the vertex D? How many edges are incident with vertex 1? Only 1. Number of edges incident with vertex 2 are 1 and 2. With 3, same, 1 and 2. With 4, 1. Coming to the second graph, number of edges incident with A are 1. With B, 1 and 2. With C, 1. With D, 1 and 2. Now what you have to do, you need to arrange the degrees in the ascending order so that the degree sequence of G1 will be 1, 1, 2, 2. Similarly for G2 also the degree sequence is 1, 1, 2, 2. Now the degree sequence is matched. So the degree sequence of both the graph is same. Therefore, you can move on to the next step, that is you can develop a function f from v1 to v2. Please note down this. Make a note of it. You just take what is degree sequence, draw the diagram and take the degree sequence. That's it. Shall I move on? Now we'll develop a function f from v1 to v2. Third step is define a function f from v1 to v2, right? That means you have to define f of 1, f of 2, f of 3, f of 4. right? You have to define a function from V1 to V2 means what are the vertices in V1? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So you have to define f of 1, f of 2, f of 3, and f of 4. Now, let me draw the diagram here. So f of 1, what is the degree of the vertex 1? In the first graph, the degree of vertex 1 is 1, right? Now, which vertex in the second graph are having the degree 1? Clear? The degree of the vertex 1 in the first graph is 1. So f of 1 k should be equivalent to the vertex which is having the degree as 1 in the second graph. Now in the second graph you have a with the degree as 1, you have c with the degree as 1. So f of 1 can be either a or c. Similarly, degree of the vertex 2 in the second graph is 2, 1 and 2, right? Now, it should be equivalent to the vertex which is having the degree as 2 in G2. Now, in G2, we have two vertices B and D with the vertex with the degree as same. So, f of 2 can be either equivalent to B or equivalent to D. Similarly, f of 3. So 3 is also having a degree of 2. In the second graph, you have B and D with the degree as 2. So it can be either equivalent to D or B. Now f of 4, degree of 4 is 1. In the second graph, A and C are having the vertex degree as 1. So it can be either equivalent to C or 1. So you can consider either this possibility or this combination. So let me consider the first combination. Any combination you can consider. F of 1 equal to B, f of 3 equivalent to D. You cannot write these, you cannot define the function blindly, ma. Right? You cannot simply define f of 1 equal to A, B, 2 equal to B, 3 equal to C, 4 equal to 2. So if you define f of 3 equal to C, then what happens? The degree of 3 will be 2, degree of C will be 1. Both are not equal. That is the reason you have to define in such a way that the degrees of the images as well as the pre-images should be the same, right? Now we have defined the function. Next, what you need to do is you need to check whether the adjacency is preserved or not. Whether the adjacency is preserved or not, that is to be considered. And next, one more is you have to also check whether the function is a bijective function or not. If both are satisfied, then only you can say that these two graphs are isomorphic with each other. Now, let me check the adjacency is preserved or not. I am checking the adjacency. Right. Excuse me. So here, 1 and 2. You have to compare 1 and 2, 1 and 3, 1 and 4. Next 2, 3, 2, 4, 3, 4. Right? You need to check the adjacency of these pre-images. These are the images, right? These are the pre-images. Check the adjacency of the pre-images. If they are adjacent, then the corresponding images should also be adjacent. If the pre-images are not adjacent, then the corresponding images should not be adjacent in the graph. Now, let me consider 1 and 2. In the first graph, 1 and 2 are adjacent. What are the images of 1 and 2? A comma B. As 1 and 2 are adjacent, so A comma B should also be adjacent. A and B should also be adjacent. So here A and B are also adjacent. So for this, the adjacency is preserved. Now consider 1 comma 3. 1 and 3 are not adjacent. Their images is A and D. Here A and D, they are also not adjacent. So satisfied. Now consider 1 and 4. 1 and 4 are not adjacent. So A and C should not be adjacent. A and C are not adjacent. Next 2 and 3. 2 and 3 are adjacent. So their images B and D are also adjacent. Next 2 and 4. 2 and 4 are not adjacent. B and C. The images B and C are also not adjacent. Now 3 and 4. 3 and 4 are adjacent. C and D or D and C are their images. They are also adjacent. So for all the pair of vertices, the adjacency is preserved. So this condition is also satisfied. Now the last condition is you need to check whether the function f is 1 1 and on 2 or not. So what is 1 1 function? Let me define the function first. So this is a function f from v1 to v2, right? F of 1 is equal to a, f of 2 is equal to b, f of 3 is equal to d, f of 4 is equal to c. Right? Let me check whether this is 1 1. So it is your domain. In the second unit, we discussed this functions topic, right? This is the codomain. For every element in the domain, there should be a mapping, one-to-one mapping with the elements in the codomain. For every element in domain, there should be a one-to-one mapping in the with the elements in the codomain, right? When you observe here, there is a one-to-one mapping. One-to-one mapping is there. So f is a function which is a one-one function. Next, check whether it is onto function or not. What is an onto function? For if all the elements in the codomain are mapped with the elements in the domain, no element in the codomain should be leave without any mapping. No element in the codomain should be there without mapping. Clear? So when you observe here, every element in the codomain is having a mapping with the elements in the domain. All the ABCD elements are connected with some elements in the domain. Therefore, you can say that f is also one-to function. That means f is a bijective function. As all the conditions were satisfied, you can say that G1 and G2, the given graphs are isomorphic with each other. The given graphs are isomorphic with each other. Is it clear? Have you understood? Adjacency. Any other doubts? Anil Kumar. Okay, adjacency I'll explain. You please wait for 2 minutes, ma. Meanwhile, you take down the example. I'll just come and I'll explain one more time. Okay, 2 minutes. You please wait. So listen here, my adjacency should be preserved means once you define the function. So here how to define the function? You are defining the function f from v1 to v2. V1 means the number of vertices in first graph, right? They are 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have to define f of 1, f of 2, 3, 4, right? F of 1 should be equivalent. So here this degree of the vertex 1 is 1. So it should be equivalent to a vertex in V2. A vertex in V2 which is having the same degree as 1. So in the second graph you have A and C which are having the degree as 1. So f of 1 can be either equivalent to A or equivalent to C. Similarly, f of 2. In the first graph, the degree of the vertex 2 is 2. So it should be equivalent to a vertex in second graph which is having the degree as 2. So here both B and D are having the degree as 2, right? So it can be either equivalent to B or D. Now with 3 is having a degree of again 2. So it should be equivalent to either D or B. Same with f of 4, right? Now you have defined the function. Once you have defined the function, you need to check whether the adjacency is preserved or not, right? So here any of these two combinations you can consider, right? So if I have considered this combination, then you need to check the adjacency is preserved. So 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4. The adjacency of 1 and 2, 1, 3 and 1, 4, 2, 3, 2, 4 and 3, 4 you have to check, right? That means if 1, 2 are adjacent, these are the pre-images and these are the images, right? If 1, 2 are adjacent, then the corresponding images of 1, 2, that is A, B should also be adjacent in another graph. If 1, 3 are adjacent, the images, the corresponding images of 1 and 3, they are YA, D. They should also be adjacent in the second graph, right? Now here 1, 2 are adjacent in the first graph. What are their images? A, B. So if 1, 2 are adjacent, A, B should also be adjacent. Yes, satisfied. Now for 1, 3, they are not adjacent. Now check A, D. A and D are not adjacent. So it is also satisfied. 1, 4. 1 and 4 also not adjacent. A and C are also not adjacent. Next 2, 3, they are adjacent. B, D, they are also adjacent. 2, 4, they are not adjacent. B and C, they are also not adjacent. 3, 4, they are adjacent. D, C, they are also adjacent. So you can say that the adjacency is preserved. What is the last condition? This function should be both 1, 1 and on 2. 1, 1 means for every element in domain, there should be a 1-to-1 relationship with the elements in the codomain. So 1-to-1 relation is there. So it is 1, 1. On 2, every element in the codomain should be mapped. No element should be left without any mapping. So all A, B, C, D are mapped with the elements in the domain. So it is an onto function. Therefore, all the conditions were satisfied. You can say that the given graphs are isomorphic with each other. Clear? Still any doubts? Have you taken this example? Shall I erase? Now you tell me the next whether it is isomorphic or not. This is the first graph. This is the second graph. Can you tell me whether these two graphs are isomorphic or not? Are the given graphs are isomorphic? Yes. How? Check whether all the conditions were satisfied or not. 520 or 7b. Are these two graphs are isomorphic or not? No. Which condition is violated? Which condition is violated? Edges, yes. So here the number of vertices are same. A, B, C, D. 4 vertices. Here also 4 vertices. But when you count the number of edges, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. 1, 2, 3. 3 edges we have here. So here the number of edges are not matched. Therefore, the graphs are not isomorphic. ఎందుకు? Now you take these two diagrams, two graphs. We'll check whether these are isomorphic or not. Take the graphs. So here the number of vertices are 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So number of vertices are same. What is the number of edges? 1, 2, 3, 5. E2 also having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, so the number of edges are same. Now you find the degree sequence. So the degree sequence of A is equal to, it is adjacent with 1, 2, 3. B adjacent with 1 and 2. C, it is adjacent with 1, 2 and 3. And D, it is adjacent with 1 and 2. Coming to the second graph, degree of it, 1 is 3, 2 is 2, 3 is also 3, 4 is 2, right? So you just write them in the ascending order, then the degree sequence of G1 will be 2, 2, 3, 3. For G2 also it is same as the degree sequence is matched. So you can develop a function, right? Let me develop a function, define a function f from V1 to V2, right? Now what are the vertices in V1? F of A, F of B, F of C, and F of B. Right? So F of A, as A is having a degree as 3. So in the second graph, you have 1 and 3 with the degree as 3. So it can be equivalent to 1 or 3. Now B is with a degree of 2. In the second graph, we have 2 and 4 with a degree as 2. So it is equivalent to 2 or 4. Now C is having a degree of 3. So it can be equivalent to 3 or 1, as they both are having degree as 3. Now D is having a degree of 2. So it can be equivalent to 4 or 2. So consider any of the combination. So let me consider F of A equal to 1, B equal to 2, C equal to 3, F of D is equal to 4, right? Now you need to check the adjacency is preserved or not. 1, 1, sorry. So A comma B, A comma C, A comma D. Similarly, BC, BD, CD. For all these, you have to check the adjacency. A comma B, they are adjacent in the first graph. So their images 1 and 2 are also adjacent. So it is satisfied. Adjacency is preserved. A comma C, they are also adjacent. For A comma C, 1 comma 3. 1 comma 3 are also adjacent. A comma D, A, D are also adjacent. Their images are 1 and 4. So 1 and 4 also adjacent. Now coming to BC, B and C are adjacent here. their images 2 and 3 are also adjacent. Now B comma D, they are not adjacent. So their images 2 comma 4 should not be adjacent. So they are also not adjacent here. So it is also satisfied. Last one is C comma D. They are adjacent. Their images 3 and 4 are also adjacent. Right? So the adjacency is preserved. So this is the fourth condition. Fourth condition is also satisfied. Now what is the last condition? Check whether the function is 1 1 and onto. So it is a b c d in v1. In v2 we have 1 2 3 4, and you have defined the function as f of a is equal to 1, b is equal to 2, c is equal to 3, d is equal to 4. Right? Check whether this is 1 1 or not. Here every element in the domain are mapped having a one-to-one relationship with every element with the elements in the codomain. So one-to-one relation is there. So it is one-one function. Every element in the codomain should be mapped. Here all the elements, all the four elements of the codomain are mapped. No element is left without any mapping, right? Therefore, it is an onto function too. You can say that as all the conditions were satisfied, given graphs are isomorphic with each other. Isomorphic with each other. Clear, ma? Is it clear for you all? Have you understood? Please take down. Please take down, all of you. Let me know if you have finished. Shall I give you one example? Shall I erase, ma? Shall I erase? Please take down these graphs, all of you. This is G1. G2. You please do this and tell me whether these graphs are isomorphic or not. Do it, ma. Make it fast. July 17th is the last working day for you. I mean, before on or before July 17th, we have to finish all these units, ma. Show the second part of the problem. Array. For the previous one, ma, I'll write here. Sapika. I'll be writing here, my second part. So f is on 1 function, f is on 2 function 2. Therefore, G1, G2 are isomorphic with each other. Okay, now you take this example and let me know whether these are isomorphic or not. Make it fast. I may ask anyone to show their notes marks. Now the time is 9:53. I'll ask you at 9:57. 4 to 5 minutes time I'll give you. Make it fast. Everyone has to do. So, any information? No, ma. As of now, we did not. I mean, what? I mean, you are isomorphic or not? Okay, do it fast. ఎవరు పోసారు ఎవరు పోసారు ఎవరు పోసారు అప్పుడు ఏం చేస్తుంది whether the function is on to function or not. Okay, do. 60, 60, 60. Can you turn on your camera? You said that it is satisfying the first three conditions. That means number of vertices are same, edges are same, and it also satisfies the degree sequence. Now, have you defined the function f from v1 to v2? Tell me whether it is 1, 1 and bijective function or not. Is it a bijective function? Okay, so in this way, when two graphs are given, you can check whether these graphs are isomorphic or not. This is about isomorphic graphs, right? Next topic is graph connectivity. Graph connectivity. A vertex V in a simple graph is said to be. Before we discuss about this graph connectivity, we'll see what is a reachability. So any vertex V in a graph is said to be reachable from the vertex U. From the vertex U. If there is a path, you do remember this word path mark. This path and edge, these two are different. If there is a path from U to V, if there is a path from U to V, then we can say that this V is reachable from U. The vertex V is reachable from U. Here, path means, suppose if you have a graph like this, if there is an edge between A and B, then we can call, I mean, if there is a link between A and B, we'll call it as an edge, right? Path means what? It includes more than one edge. It includes more than one edge. So A to B, B to C. This is a path. Let us suppose if you have like this, then A to B, B to D. This is also a path. So a path includes more than one edge. This is one edge, A B to D is one edge. A to B is one edge, B to C is one edge. Right? So if there exists a path from vertex A to vertex B, then we can say that B is reachable from A. B is reachable from A. So the set of all the vertices which are reachable from B, the set of all vertices which are reachable from any given vertex B, then we can call it as a reachable set of B. The reachable set of B. Whatever the vertices are reachable from B, all these vertices are known as a reachable set. Let me give you one example. Consider a graph like this. A to B, B to C, C to D, E to F, right? Now you consider any vertex A. Tell me from this vertex A, which are reachable? Can I reach B from vertex A? Yes, you can reach using A to B path as it is edge 2. Now, can I reach C? Yes, you can reach from A to B, B to C, which is a path. You can also reach D from A to B, B to C, C to D, which is again a path. If there exists a path from vertex A to D, then you can say that D is reachable from A. Here B is reachable, C is also reachable. Now consider the vertex E. Can I reach the vertex E from A? You cannot reach. You can reach D, but from D you don't have any edge to E. From B also you don't have it. From C also you don't have it. So you cannot reach E from A. Can I reach F from A? No, you cannot reach. So now what is the reachable set of A? What are the vertices reachable from A? B, C, D. Clear? Now consider B. What is the reachable set of B? From B you can reach A. From B you can reach C. From B you can also reach D. through BC and CD. So this is the reachable set of B. Now what is the reachable set of C? It is again A, B and D. And the reachable set of D is what? The reachable set of D is you can reach A, B and C. Now what is the reachable set of E? From E, what are the vertices you can reach? From E, I can reach only F. Only F can be reached from E. Then what is the reachable set of F? From F, you can reach only E. So this is the reachable set of all the vertices in the graph. Clear? This is a reachability. Now we'll see the connectivity issues. What is connectivity in case of undirected graph and a directed graph? First, we'll see the connectivity in undirected graph. What is F bar? Okay, reachable set of E, you said. Now we'll see the connectivity in undirected graphs. Undirected graphs. Undirected graph. Connectivity in undirected graph. A graph, an undirected graph G is said to be connected. Is said to be connected if it is possible to reach from any vertex to any other vertex in the graph along a sequence of vertices or by using different paths from one vertex to any other vertex in the given graph. If you are able to reach, that means every vertex is to be reachable from every other vertex in the graph, then we can say that the graph is connected. Otherwise it is disconnected graph, right? From any given vertex, or if all the other vertices are able to be reached, you can able to reach all other vertices, then we can say that the graph is a connected graph, right? Now otherwise you are saying that it is a disconnected graph. So for a disconnected graph, you will have more than one connected components. A disconnected graph means contains two or more connected components. Two or more connected components you'll have in case of a disconnected graph. Consider the same example, previous one. So when you observe here, so here from every vertex you should be able to reach all other vertices, but here from A you can reach only B, C, D, but you are not able to reach E and F. Therefore you can say that this is a disconnected graph, right? And what is the other point I have included? For a disconnected graph, it includes two or more connected components. So when you observe this, this is one connected component. So connected component I am saying means in this component, when you consider any vertex, it should be reached from any other vertex. A can be reached from B, C and D. B can also be reached from A, it can be reached from C, it can also be reached from D. Okay? Therefore, it is one connected component. Similarly, this EF is also another connected component. So a disconnected graph, this complete is a disconnected graph which includes two or more connected components. So in this example, we have two connected components. Yes, is it clear? Suppose if you have a graph like this, you tell me whether these graphs are connected or not. Consider G1. Is it a connected graph? Is it a connected graph? From A, you can reach B and C. From B, you can reach A and C. From C, you can reach A and B. From every vertex in the graph, there is a path to every other vertex in the graph. Therefore, it is a connected component. Sorry, connected graph. Now, consider one more graph. Tell me whether it is a connected graph or not. If not, how many connected components we have, you tell me. Is it a connected graph? Is G2 is a connected graph? No. Then tell me how many connected components we have. If it is a disconnected graph, 2 components. Yes. So here from A you cannot reach D, E, F. Therefore, simply you can say that it is a disconnected graph. So for a disconnected graph, you should have 2 or more component, right? So this is ABC is one connected component, DEF is another connected component. Now consider a graph like this, A, B, C, D, E, F. Is it a connected component? Oh, sorry, is it a connected graph? Is it a connected graph? Is G3 a connected graph? Is G3 a connected graph? No, it is also not. How many components are there in G3? 21. How many connected components are there? Here it is not connected. Why? Because from A you can reach only B. From C you can reach only D. From E you can reach only F. So it is a disconnected graph. Now you tell me how many connected components were there. Yes, 3 connected components were there. So A to B is one connected component. C to D is one connected component. E to F is another connected component. If you have a graph like this, is it a connected or graph or not? You tell me. Is it a connected graph? Yes. It is a connected graph because from every vertex in the graph, there is a path to every other vertex in the graph. From every vertex in the graph, there is a path. From A, you can reach B. From A, you can reach C. From A, you can reach D. You can also reach F. Sorry, this is E. You can reach E. You can also reach F. So from every vertex, you are able to reach every other vertex in the graph. Therefore, we can say that this graph is a connected graph. Next concept is cut vertex. One second. The next concept is cut vertex. Cut vertex and cut edge. Cut vertex is also known as a cut point. Cut edge is also known as bridge. Now first we'll see what is a cut vertex. Cut vertex means in a connected graph, if you remove a vertex, if that connected graph becomes a disconnected graph, that vertex whose removal of a vertex results a connected graph into a disconnected graph, that is known as a cut vertex. Clear? If a connected graph is given, in the connected graph, if you remove any vertex, if you remove a vertex, if this connected graph becomes a disconnected graph, the vertex is known as a cut vertex. Same with cut edge. In a connected graph, if you are able, by removing one edge, any edge, if you are able to get a disconnected graph, that edge is known as a cut edge, or you'll call it as a bridge. Clear? Let us see one example. A graph is given like this. identify the cut vertices in the graph, right? So if you remove any vertex, the graph should become a disconnected graph. First of all, let me check whether it is a connected graph or not. When you consider A, you can reach B, you can reach C, you can reach D, you can reach E, you can also reach F, you can also reach G. Okay? From every vertex, you are able to reach every other vertex. Therefore, you can say that the given graph is a connected graph. Now, we will see what are the cut vertices. Consider a vertex A. Consider the vertex A. What will happen if you remove the vertex A? You are removing a vertex A means you have to remove the edges incident with the vertex A. What are the edges incident with it? This is the only edge. That means you have to remove A and this edge E1. You please put your hand on this edge and vertex and check whether you will get a disconnected graph or not. So when you remove A and its incident vertex, what you will get, ma? You will get a graph like this. Right? Now when you observe this graph, is it a disconnected graph? Is it a disconnected graph? It is not a disconnected graph. It is not a disconnected graph. Clear? So A is not a cut vertex. A is not a cut vertex. Right? Now you remove the vertex B. What will happen if you remove the vertex? The edges incident with it should also be removed. Then what will happen? You will have a graph with only one vertex A. Why? Because you are removing these two edges, right? Then you will have only A here, right? Now B you are removing, so you will have D, C, E, F, and G. Now when you observe here, I can treat it as a graph, which is a null graph. Null graph means what? A graph with an isolated vertex is known as a null graph. So it can be one graph. It is also another subgraph. Right? So when you observe here, this is one connected component. This is also another connected component. That means after removing the vertex B and its incident vertices, you are able to get two connected component. Therefore, you can say that B is a cut vertex. B is a cut vertex. Clear? Similarly, we try to remove C. When you remove C, what will happen? A, B, C you are removing means these three edges you have to remove. So you will have a D here and E, F, G. So when you remove C, you have one connected component, this is another connected component, this is. So it results in three connected component. Therefore, it is also a cut vertex. Right? Now coming to the vertex D. When you remove D, what will happen? You have to remove this vertex and its edge. Then what is left? A, B, C, E, F, and G. So this is a connected graph. No, it is not a disconnected graph. It does not result in two or more connected components. So D is not a connected, D is not a cut vertex. Vertex D is not a cut vertex. Similarly, if you remove E, what will happen, ma? These two edges will be removed. So you will have A, B here, C, D. E you are removing, that means F and G. So it results in two connected components. So E vertex is also a cut vertex. The vertex E is also a cut vertex. Now coming to F. If you remove F, what will happen? A, B, C, D, E. These two edges you have to remove. So it results in two connected components. One is a null graph. This is another connected component. So F is also a cut vertex. Here. F is also a cut vertex. And the last one, when you remove this G, what will happen, ma? This G and its edge will be removed. After removing this, you will get a graph like this, which is a connected graph. So G is not a cut vertex. So what are the cut vertices in the given graph? The cut vertices are A is not a cut vertex, B, C, E, F. B, C, E, F. Clear? Is it clear for you all? Yes, have you understood, ma? Okay. Now we'll see cut edge. Consider a graph. Now you consider this graph. Cut edge means what? After removing an edge, if the graph becomes disconnected, we'll call it as a cut edge, right? So when you observe in this graph, what is the edge that I have to remove to make it as a disconnected graph? So first of all, tell me, what is the cut vertex, ma? What is the cut vertex here? If I remove A, it won't become a disconnected graph. If I remove B also, it won't be a disconnected graph. If you remove D also, when you remove C, it becomes a disconnected graph. Clear? So the cut vertex is E. Therefore, the cut edges means the edges incident with the vertex E. What are the edges incident with E? That is CE, C comma E comma D, and E comma F. Right? So when you remove, sorry, 1 second. So here the cut vertex we have identified as E. So the cut vertex is E. Now tell me, if I remove all these three vertices, is the graph becomes a disconnected graph? Or as first you come edgewise, E1, E2, let me label the names edges as E6, E7, right? So if you remove first edge, what will happen, ma? If you remove the first edge, do we get a disconnected graph? No, you will not get a disconnected graph. That means if you remove AB, you will not get a disconnected graph. If you remove the second edge, that is if you remove AC, do you get a disconnected graph? No, you will not get a disconnected graph. Clear? Now if you remove E3, that is if you remove BD also, you will not get a disconnected graph. Like that, if you remove any one single edge in the graph won't be a disconnected graph. If you remove a single edge in this given graph, it is not becoming a disconnected graph. That means you have to remove a combination of the edges to make it a disconnected graph. Right? So in that case, that means if a single edge does not result in the graph into a disconnected graph, the removal of a single edge does not result into a disconnected graph, then combination of the edges are to be removed, and those combination of the edges are known as cut set. Cut set means the minimum number of edges to be removed to become or to convert a connected graph into a disconnected graph. Minimum number of edges for a connected graph to become a disconnected graph is known as a cut set. Now in this case, you don't have a cut edge. That means single edge does not result in a disconnected graph. That means combination of the edges you have to remove. Let me find out what are the edges you have to remove, right? So here, when you observe here, when you remove this partition, you can have two. I mean, you can have one part on the upper side of this edge, one part on the below of this edge, right? So one of the edge that you have to remove is CD. Now, when you remove this CD, you still don't get a disconnected graph. Why? Because you have a connection from D to E. D to E is there, right? That is the reason. From here also you have a connection from C to E. That is the reason you have to remove one more edge, that is C comma E. C comma E, right? So if you remove C comma E and C comma D, let me check whether you will get a disconnected graph or not. C comma D and C comma E. If you remove these two, what will happen, ma? Can I get a disconnected graph? No, you don't get a disconnected graph. Why? Because you can reach from the first part to the second part through this edge, through this D comma E edge. Therefore, what is the another edge that you have to remove? You have to remove one more edge, that is E comma E. Now, when you remove all these three edges, then you will get a graph like this. This is one component, and here you'll have another component. This is your C, A, B, and clear. Therefore, you can say that the minimum number of edges, that is these three edges, results this graph into a disconnected graph. It is known as a cut set. Is it clear, ma? Have you understood? Cut vertex and cut edge. So any other doubts you have? Cut edge. Okay. Let me draw the graph one more time. So cut edge means similar to cut vertex. There you are removing the vertex. Here you have to remove the edge. If the removal of an edge results a graph into a disconnected graph, we will call it as a cut edge or a bridge. Right? So in this graph, if you remove AB, what will happen if you remove AB? You will get a graph like this. You will get a graph like this. Is it a disconnected graph? When you remove A comma B, you'll get a graph like this, but it is not a disconnected graph. Therefore, A comma B is not a cut bridge, cut vertex. One second. So A comma B is not cut vertex. So cut edge. Consider removing another edge. You remove one more edge. Let me remove B comma D. Then you will get A here, B here, A C, C to D, A B, E. So after removing BD also, you are not getting a disconnected graph, right? Now try to remove one more. Let me remove C comma D. Then what will happen? Again, you will not get a disconnected graph. Like this, you check all the edges if you want. You try to remove all the edges individually. Then what happens is, if you remove a single edge, that graph does not result into a disconnected graph. That is the reason, which means that You have to remove combination of the edges to make it into a disconnected graph. More than one edge you have to remember. Let me identify what are the edges that you have to remove. Suppose a combination of the edges you consider, ma. So here consider AB and AC. If you remove AB and AC, it won't happen. This graph will not become in a disconnected graph, right? So that is like that you have to consider the different combination. So when you observe here, this is like a partition. When you observe this graph, it is something like looking like a partition. So you try to remove CD along with one more edge. This remove this CD along with one more edge. Let me consider one more edge like D comma E. So when you remove D comma E and C comma D, what will happen is you will again get a connected component. You will again get a connected component. That means you have to remove one more edge. Let me remove C comma E. That means I'm just trying the which are neighbor, which are the edges which are near to this CD, right? So when you remove these three, now when you remove these three, you will get a graph like this. A, B, C, you will get here A, B, C, D. And in the second component, I am removing CE and DE. ED I am removing, right? Therefore, you will get E comma E. Now, when you remove these three edges, you are getting a disconnected component, right? Therefore, minimum number of edges that you have to remove to get a disconnected graph is known as a cut set. If you are removing a single edge, we will call it as a cut edge or bridge. Combination of the edges, if you are removing to get a disconnected graph, that is known as a cut set. So in our example, this is the cut set. Is it clear now? If there is no cut edge, we have to go for yes. That means you first check deleting single edge. If you are unable to get a disconnected graph, try to delete two edges. If not, try to delete three edges. That is minimum number of edges that you have to remove is your cut vertex. Sorry, cut set. Is it clear now? So this is about today's class. Please let me know every one of you have understood or not. If you have